Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am Vinny, this is Kim, and welcome to the only podcast that celebrates the 27, if not more, time Emmy Award-winning web soap, The Bay. You're watching Dockside at The Bay. Kim, how are you today?
Doing just fine, Vinny. Doing just fine. This episode was a lot, though. This was a roller coaster of an episode, so I'm excited to dive in and start chatting on it.
You are absolutely right. And as always, I want to thank everybody that tuned in this past weekend to our podcast-a-thon. Today is Thursday, the 13th of November, 2025. And this past weekend, we did 24 hours straight to raise money for Samantha's friends. And hopefully, for those of you who did watch and donate, thank you so much. And for those of you who didn't watch, you enjoyed it as well. But we are here to talk about Season 7, Episode number 2. But before we do, I do want to go ahead and let you all know, as you probably well know by now, our new merch shop has launched. We are no longer going through Threadless. We are now going through Spreadshop. And it's still the same URL. It's still merch.suds-media.com, which is pointing to a new shop now. All of our logos, all of the designs for merchandise are there that you've loved. And we have new items that are now available that the other place did not have. Especially the Cuddle Buddies. We have a dog, monkey, a panda bear, a teddy bear, and so on and so forth. I do want to go ahead and thank everybody that's going to be purchasing stuff because there's a lot of stuff. And for one more week, everybody get site-wide is 25% discount. Get your holiday shopping out of the way. We actually have stockings and Santa hats as well with our logo. So, if you have somebody who is a big fan of Dockside at the Bay, we do have our Dock inside merchandise up there, and you can get a logo. You can get of course, I just said it, but a stocking with the Dock F inside logo on it, and Santa.
Stocking stuffer of a stocking. It's very
exactly.
Cool.
Exactly. But either way, Kim, how was your week? How was your week this week?
Week was pretty good. Nothing too dramatic, nothing too crazy. Just getting ready for all the holiday stuff. That's all, coming up before we know it. So, but I was happy though, just to kind of escape from some of the craziness at work into the craziness in Bay City, for sure. Work was a little bit nuts. So,
absolutely, I completely agree. Today is Thursday, November 13th, 2025, and we are going to be reviewing episode 2 of season 7 of The Bay. I did get mine on Prime Video because it is available there to purchase. But it is available on Tubi and Popstar and I think a Roku channel as well. So
I believe yes, Roku as well. Yeah, Tubi is a good platform for it though too. There are ads. Kind of frustrating, but all the episodes are there, and it just makes it's as far as streaming too, pretty convenient, nice little platform. Aside from the ads again, though.
And folks, I know we're still going into the whole YouTube TV, ABC, Disney, ESPN problem, where all of the Disney channels were dropped from YouTube TV after the expiration of their contract. I am doing watch-alongs on various days for General Hospital, for the Hulu version on our Discord. So check that out if you are missing watching General Hospital on YouTube TV. They're not every day, and they're not, they're not on the same day all the time. It's just whenever I have a free time to stream some stuff. I do have to work at times in the evening, so I can't always, or record, so I can't always do a watch along, but when I can, I post it on our X feed, which is at Suds Media. So stay tuned to that if you want to watch General Hospital and you're on YouTube TV. All right, but we are here to talk about the Bay, and let me tell you something: the Bay has been baying. It has been on fire.
Season 7 kicked us off. It kicked us right into there was a lot of action, the premiere was crazy, the premiere for season 7. Now we're kind of seeing everything just kind of the way everything was unfolding and the aftermath almost, so to speak. But it definitely brought the drama, this episode. And it just, I mean, it opens on just even such like a dramatic, sort of crazy, kind of confusing note at first until you kind of figure out the lay of the land and exactly what's going on. But I mean, it features our heroine. You know, we jump in right in, catching up with what happened to Sarah, which,
yes,
you know, right away we're stepping into just the entire situation that unfolded at the mansion, and with her being gunned down. And we see just the impact that that's having on everyone, and the impact of that as well as the other shootings on everyone in Bay City. And it's just, there's a lot to unpack.
and honestly, this is just we're kind of continuing from episode one, where we're dealing with the aftermath, like you said, of the New Year's Evil shooting, but we still don't see anything regarding Adam. We don't see anything regarding Jensen or any of the villains in this situation. We are specifically just seeing the fallout on Pete, on Lex, on Avery. We see a little bit more of Evan this week. So it's, again, we're dealing with the aftermath of what's going on, and it's this core nucleus of characters that are literally trying to pick up the pieces and put the pieces together.
Yeah.
So we do see, again, like you said, we see Mary Beth Evans as Sarah, who kind of is waking up, or she thinks she's waking up, but she's in a dreamland, you know.
She's kind of limbo land, navigating between worlds. We see her in the hallway that was kind of teased at us in the premiere towards the very like the tail end of the episode. We see that hallway. We realize that it looks like a hospital hallway, but we see her, you know, in the same wardrobe she had on when she had been shot, and we just end up cutting into her just kind of wandering a little bit confused, but we do see someone there, familiar sort of face, long blonde hair was the giveaway.
Yes. And it wasn't it wasn't Martha Madison who
unfortunately
portrayed the character of Marley back in the beginning years of the Bay.
Yes.
But it was an actress named Sierra Hanna, who a very striking resemblance to Martha Madison.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, very good casting considering, Martha could have had other, and it's 7 seasons in since like her last appearance on the show. So it's to be expected that the, role was recast, especially for just a stint such as this, where she's really coming back as a way to kind of usher Sarah through this hallway and try and help her establish where she is and what's going on. But it was really touching and sweet just seeing, Sarah's reaction to seeing her now, her dead daughter, just believing that she's alive, just running up, hugging her. I don't want to let you go. It brought back all the Marley feels.
And I have to give Mary Beth Evans credit because
I always give her credit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the way that she's obviously done these kinds of scenes before, especially on days like probably around the same time frame that she was filming this in Limbo.
Yeah, Kayla was going through some stuff around this time.
Kayla was going through the same thing with Marlena and Kate on days where they thought they were dead in heaven, and they had seen, they thought
that trope was in full swing on both soaps. A lot of that going on. Again, heavenly sort of places as well, like kind of in between worlds. Your family thinks you're dead. You think you're possibly in a coma somewhere. Yeah, a lot of overlap.
Oh, a ton of it. And Mary Beth Evans, she's obviously got to be used to it at this point. But you know what?
Kayla's been through the ringer. Kayla's been through a lot, and obviously Sarah has as well. So our beloved heroines, on soaps, they always, they gotta get. They go through it. They really do.
Absolutely. So a lot of credit given to Mary Beth Evans for her doing this, but we do see, somebody who, is Marley in the afterlife. And the one thing I have to say is she wasn't trying to usher Sarah through the door of heaven, like as to say, "Oh, you're dead. I'm going to bring you there now."
She confirms that she's actually dead, because
yeah.
Sarah needs a reminder. Just because for a split second, Sarah maybe is convinced that, oh, you're back from the dead, you're alive, everything, and then Marley bluntly kind of says, oh no, I'm actually dead, and then goes on to explain though that with Jack and his sighting towards the hallway. So she basically kind of fills Sarah in on the whole situation that's happening in that hallway, where Jack just had to pay a visit to the morgue. And I love that, as long as we're kind of on this thread, with the hallway scene, what have you, when they mention Damian.
Yes.
I don't know. I hadn't forgotten it, but it brought it back home almost when Marley says, and they acknowledge the fact that Damian got Marley's heart. I had forgot, it all kind of came flooding back in that moment, and then it just made her appearance there and, her mentioning Damian just all the more bittersweet, because it was a detail that obviously was there, but it didn't register almost until
it kind of brought everything back full circle, and it's funny because General Hospital did something really similar not too long ago when they had the memorial for Bobby Spencer, and the actress that had played BJ, Bobby's daughter, on the show. BJ had died very young from whatever.
Even not being a GH regular viewer, I know that story. That's one of the most famous.
Part. And then when they did the thing for Bobby, there was a reporter there who was doing a story on Bobby. It turned out to be BJ because the newspaper didn't know anything about the reporter. And I forget what the name was, forgive me, but it was something very, very similar where it came just full circle.
Yeah. No, and it's just, it shows that, soaps just have that longevity, and viewers, it reminds us, viewers remember stuff like this.
Yes.
For the most part. Sometimes it takes a refresh watch to have it come back to you. But
to be fair, fans remember a lot more than the stars do, and even the people in charge, the writers, even though they remember.
Yeah. No, soap fans do have long memories. So when they do bring in that history and when they twine it in like that, it's all the more heartfelt. And in that moment in particular, I thought it really was just having it where Jack has to go identify Damian's body in the morgue, and they acknowledge, this is my grandson, all of this, but to have Marley be the one that her reveal that she had to usher Damian off, and Sarah reminding everyone that, yes, because you're connected, because of the heart and everything like that. It was just, it added an extra layer to the scene, in my opinion. It just was really well done, really well acted.
It really, truly did. Now, okay, wait a minute. We've teased it for quite a bit that we've had to do this family tree for the Garrett for the Garrett family. Now, when we last, Avery and Damian were dating, right?
Yes.
So, but okay, they're cousins.
I think it's a kissing cousin situation, but technically, yes, they are, because
Damian is John Blackwell's son, and Avery is Sarah's niece, Sarah's brother's child. Yes. So, and they're,
cousins, maybe maybe there's a once removed in there, or it's a second cousin layer or something like that, but there is relation there.
Yeah, there is a somewhat of a relation there, because John and Sarah are brother and sister.
Yes.
Half brother and sister, if I'm not mistaken. So there's something. There's something there.
And not for nothing, but if we want to talk days overlap, right now we have Stephanie dating Alex Kyriakis, who is technically raised by Adrian, who is Steve's sister. So people, say to a degree, they're not. Yeah, but the cousin territory is just funny to see it now. And now that you pointed out with the Bay, my goodness, lot of overlap happening here.
I mean, and even with GH, they almost did the Sasha and Cody thing, and then they turned out to be first cousins. So they didn't. I think that they kissed, but they didn't do anything else. But I guess I mean, in that kind of a territory, I guess from what I heard, was it Loving or Guiding Light or The City? One of those older soaps actually did a cousins dating and falling in love story.
Really?
Yeah, I think that,
Okay.
yeah, I remember, I know we had talked about it on Suds News last year. Check the archives, folks. Angela had filled me in. I think it was Guiding Light. Now that's getting me curious. Now I got to check.
It wasn't a character on Guiding Light Tammy by chance, was it?
Possibly.
Because even I've heard of that. I remember, just seeing it. Guiding Light I watched here and there. It wasn't one of my mainstay soaps as a kid, but here and there I do. And the actress who played her went on to be on All My Children, and she was one of my faves. So.
Okay, so it was 2004. Yes, it was JB and Tammy.
Yeah. Played by Stephanie Gatchett, I believe was her name.
Yes, Stephanie Gatchett, and yes.
Sometimes I feel like they just, it's interesting that they just leaned in, because I feel like sometimes with the familial sort of connections, like Stephanie and Alex, they don't really acknowledge on Days that the two of them were it's never really come up that he was raised by Steve's sister, essentially.
Guiding Light. That's what it was. Guiding Light.
So it's just one of those, they either lean in or they just kind of hope that the audience just kind of disconnects from it because there's chemistry between the actors. Let's just run with it and kind of forget that history. And that's kind of the strategy that Days has adopted with this. And they didn't really bring it into the play, obviously, with the Bay either, having it with Damian and with Avery. There is that connection there, but it's never really come up. I mean, to be fair, they've always been not a secondary couple, but they're not top of the heap like a Vivian and Pete or Sarah and Lex or something like that. So, but it is interesting. It is interesting that they kind of crossed into it. But I will say those two actors did have a lovely chemistry, and Avery's reaction in the aftermath of Damian's death, especially when she tells Evan, was just gut-wrenching to watch. I mean, that was just very, very sad.
Because all the characters are still finding out other people that were affected, because when Avery comes in to talk to Evan, and he's first Evan, I gotta give him credit, man. He tries to just leave. He's like, you know what? Find myself out.
I'm a big boy. I can handle this. He's Mr. Tough Guy. And then as soon as he sits up, he's just immediately like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. And he doesn't want. He fights him on the pain medicine too, and even ends up knocking the cup away because he just refuses. But he's trying to be all Mr. Tough Guy. Well, it's a little difficult when you just got shot in the shoulder, bud.
Oh yeah, no, and I have to say, Brandon Beamer is fantastic, and I like him better as Evan the Bay than I do as his Days character.
The writing serves him so much better on the Bay. I feel like he gets so underutilized on Days.
Sean, right? Yeah, Sean.
And I just feel like, aside from the arc recently with Bo, when he had a little chance to kind of show his stuff there, but I feel like he just gets very underutilized on Days, and he's a very talented actor. So I love seeing his character on the Bay. I just love that he gets that extra, the layers, the depth. You feel this character's pain. Whereas, Sean is a legacy character on Days, and I love the guy, but it's just the writing is underserving the character at this point for him.
Yeah, I haven't watched Days in a couple of years, so I can't really attest to the stories right now. But
I just feel like he gets more of a chance to show his acting chops, show his stuff, show that he's just. When he finds out about Damian, he's just all go go go. I got to get out of here, and immediately he also thinks that Tamara is injured.
Well, that's
he's immediately concerned about her too. For good reason, because of everything that's happened. But
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say is that they're still trying to piece together who, and finding out information of who were affected. Because when
Yeah.
Avery came in, Evan's immediately like, well, is it Tamara? Do you have any news on Tamara? And they're like, and she's like, wait a minute, Tamara?
Yeah.
And he says,
No, everyone, they're all still in a state of, because it's still the same night. It's still the same day.
Yeah.
When they cut to Zoe, poor Zoe standing there in like her fancy dress, hugging Lex in his bloodstained shirt. I mean, this is all just hours after everything has happened. So it's still same day, and they're just grappling with it and taking the news as it comes because they're all just still, processing everything that's gone down.
And can I just say that the actress, who is it that plays Zoe? I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm blanking on her name at the present moment.
I'll have to wiki it.
My apologies.
No, it's okay, but she is a very beautiful woman.
Oh, she's gorgeous. Even like, but you can tell like passage of time. Like she's, if you look at like season 1 versus but she still looks exactly it. She's gorgeous, but that character has been through a lot, and you can see it. And her acting in those scenes with even with Lex, when she's just trying to, even in the previous episode when she's the one driving the car and trying to tell everyone to calm down, and she's just such a good actress, so talented, and just seeing like the devastation across her face. And just how tired and how grueling everything is. It's all there. Yeah.
Taylor Stanley, she is such a gorgeous woman. I just, just the way that she comes in, she lights up the entire scene.
Yes. No, I concur.
And, and just we were talking a bit before we pressed record regarding the runtime, how it was a very quick episode. It was only a 21-minute episode, so they packed a lot into a very short time.
They really did. They really did.
Yeah.
No, the ending just it caught me by surprise. I was like, oh wait, episode's over. Okay. Well, it felt like it flew. At least.
Did.
But there was so much going on, so that totally makes sense. So, I mean, we had the hospital stuff. We have the scenes in the hallway, and we have Evan, that reveal. And we also have the baby. We have the sequence with the baby and Pete and Sophia, which was just, that was so, and Pete just trying to grapple with everything that's going on as well. Poor man, our poor hero.
Again, we're seeing such a range of Christos, and before, I want to get my facts correct, because before he was on the Bay as Pete Garrett from way back when in Bay the Beginning in 2010, he was a model, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
I give him a lot of credit because, he did a lot of, he's been fantastic in this role, and we've seen the evolution. Like, we've grown up with him, similar to, not the same as seeing, like, Kimberly McCullough as Robin Scorpio.
Right. Haven't seen, it's not like he's been on the show since he was 8 years old, but we did see him as, even when we were watching Bay the Beginning and like that episode of him in New York when he's like, it's like little boy Pete almost. And then you think of where that character was then, you think of it now, and it's amazing, just seeing that trajectory and that journey.
But even Christos as an actor, and now that he's playing the double role of him and his cousin, his twin brother, and of course that's a soap trope, but this takes it to a whole new level. Like, and again, the Bay itself is a whole different, can of worms when it comes to
it's a different breed. It's not, the equivalent of, streaming typical. It's a streaming soap. It's not typical of, standard daytime. It's its own formula. It's its own thing.
Exactly.
But we still have those soapy elements, and
the way they incorporate the soap tropes into the Bay is fantastic. So I give credit to both Gregory and Christos, because
absolutely,
and the way that Christos is portraying just two totally different characters.
Yeah, here we've the past 2 episodes, as you said, we haven't had Adam on canvas, but his presence is obviously felt because we're in the aftermath of everything that he's done. But just seeing Pete just having to, switch gears from, I want to be at the hospital with my son and my mother. I need to know how my mother is. Oh, no, wait, now I need to go off and find my wife because she's been taken. It's
Yeah.
like that is so much to just jump around to and absorb. And his emotional state, you know, the poor man has been through the absolute ringer. But in
Yeah.
those scenes with Sophia, he almost, and the scene with his son, it almost grounds him a little bit when he says his son's name, and he's just
Right.
like, now I need to like focus. I need to go and find my wife. I need to find my son's mother. I need to figure out what is going on. It's like he has that little moment to just kind of breathe, and then has to, you know, just immediately knowing that Sarah's being looked after, and knowing that he has that support system, that he can now go and on his search for Vivian, because obviously that's key.
And it shows Pete's vulnerability around his son, who is named Marlon, which is obviously after.
Which I loved that. That's such a touch, and I love Sophia, Marlon Brando, another superstar. But then he goes on to explain, you know, and Matthew tying in the fact that Vivian and Matthew are cousins, which is something that I admit I had kind of forgotten until the most recent season, you know, this past season.
I didn't know that connection. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, because Vivian was talking to Matthew's mother or Zoe on the phone or something like that, and they were talking about Matthew, and I didn't realize they were cousins.
Yeah. So, it's another, you know, again with this family tree, I really got to get working on that thing.
Yes. But it's the way that Pete chose just the vulnerability, because you're right. It's kind of like one of those situations where, and I've had this conversation with my wife, and I'm going to say, am I the asshole? Because my wife has told me how there's these two co-workers that she works with that are in a relationship, and if one calls out, the other stays home, or if one has to be rushed to the hospital, the other one stays home or whatever. I'm like, why? Like, am I the asshole? Because I would have told my wife, I'm like, if you're in the hospital, I know you're being taken care of. If I have to work, I'm going to work. Like, there's nothing I can do because I'm not a doctor. I can't, you know? And so for Pete, that's kind of like the internal dialogue where that he's got to be like, okay, my mom's being taken care of by the doctors. My son is being taken care of by the doctors. And there is a support there because Sophia's there. And then the cop is, you know, being security for him. So my son is being taken care of. I have to kind of get back into hero mode and go save Vivian.
Yep. I mean, it's just, it's like he needed that little moment to just kind of reset himself almost. And just kind of remember, like, you know, reprioritize, re-strategize, just get to a place where he can jump into action hero Pete mode again. Because he's been having to do that a lot between Sarah and now Vivian. It's like it's back to back sort of action hero. Got to, you know, go and track these women down that are so important to me and are, you know, so essential to my life.
Yes, exactly. But that is, I mean, that's been one of the biggest things for Pete. Like, he's on an adventure almost every season. That's just what it boils down to.
Yeah. I mean, he is our hero.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You know, as a hero, he can never have a moment of peace.
So we do see that Nardo pretty much officially comes out of retirement. He is back in the BCPD to find out what he can about the kidnapping and find out why Will was tipped off. And Lex says, you know, if Will was tipped off, he was tipped off for a reason. So they have to figure out why and what and how everything is connected.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting kind of how that all should. I still think the Will sort of element that they brought back into the mix, it was a little convenient, but it worked, and it got Liana kind of. You know, it's an interesting kind of way that they chose to bring the character back into the fold with the whole tip situation and what have you, and connecting it with Jen. So. It's but at the end of the day, it's like, they need all hands on deck to figure out this Adam situation and figure out, you know, because poor Lex, I mean, my God, every scene that when he just basically, I love the chemistry that he's got with Sarah so much. And you can just see his just, you know, he looks like he's numb. He just looks so just completely Like,
Yeah.
I need to be here with her. And when they say, like, people don't tend to remember when you're, in comas and things, it's like, no, she'll remember me. She knows me. It's like all it takes is just like a couple of lines from him and it just breaks your heart.
You're right. And again, kind of similar to Brandon Beamer, the Brandon Beamer situation, Tristan Rogers in the role of Lex in this character is just so versatile. Like, again, being used to seeing him on GH as Robert Scorpio, but I wasn't watching when it was Robert and Anna and Robert and Holly back in the event days. So seeing him in this role now where he's animated, where he's trying to save Sarah because she was shot in the stomach, and just the passion that he has, that Lex has for Sarah, is just absolutely wonderful. And bravo, Tristan Rogers, God bless his soul. We lost him not too long ago, but his work will live on.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. Just just a charming, lovely, romantic leading soap man, and it just, even their chemistry was so lovely together on this, and you can just see his devotion to Sarah in these scenes, and it's just him just standing outside the door watching them work on her. Even it was just like, oh, your heart just breaks for him. Yeah. So it was just, and we have it where we're just on that cliff. We've got all like these folks that are hospitalized on that sort of cliffhanger thing. I mean, Evan starts like having almost like a fit, like a coughing fit. We have Sarah in her coma just calling out to everybody. We have, but then we also had Sophia telling Pete, everything's okay. Avery's going to be all right. You're going to be okay. You need to go and focus on what comes next with Vivian. It's just, they're just trying to grapple with everything that's going on and adjust.
And Sophia did tell, Pete that Vivian was with Adam. So he's got a place to start off with.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. Yes,
they do. I love when they twine back into Sophia's like psychic connection. Like they've never really lost that, but they always find interesting and creative ways to kind of bring it into the fold. And here I thought it was that, when she basically says, I don't want to put you on the wrong path like I did when I sent you to Belgium and all of that, but I do know that, Vivian is with Adam. I do know this. I can confirm that. It's just, I love that element. I love that's been a thread for the character throughout. Just that little psychic connection that helps the town, helps out.
You're right. No, you're exactly right. So we know that P is gearing up for a fight, and if you're gearing up for a fight, you're probably going to want some good merch to be wearing. And I'm not talking about our merch for Suds Media. I'm talking about WWE merch, and we are an official affiliate of WWE Shop. So if you want to help us out, earning commission, but also want some really awesome WWE merch, you can use our code.
Ladies and gentlemen, Suds and Sports Circle Media is an official affiliate of WWE Shop. If you want to buy stuff for the new AAA Mega Champion and WWE Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio, or the classic Stone Cold Steve Austin with his Austin 316 merchandise, or merch for Raw is War, SmackDown, or any other WWE show, just go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code for our affiliate link. You can either go to wrestlingmerch.suds-media.com or scan the QR code on the screen, and you'll be taken to WWE Shop using our affiliate link. And anything you buy using our affiliate link, we earn commission.
All right, so check that out, folks. If you're gearing up for a fight like Pete, we can probably get Pete some Shield gear from or NWO gear, even better. But either way, this has been a fantastic season thus far. We're only 2 episodes in. So we pretty much have covered just about everything in the episode.
I think so too. Yeah. I'm just looking to see if there's any other kind of noteworthy standout. reverse that, switch that.
I do they have been
no, I'm just trying to make sure there isn't anything else that we forgot to cover, but I think we have.
They have been lingering a bit on like one of the cops in the background as they're kind of discussing, the situation with Adam or the situation with Lex. They are kind of lingering as Lex is talking about, they're trying to figure out what happened and with Adam and with Jensen. And you always see kind of like one cop in the background, or they zoom in on him with it, kind of a stone face or whatever. Do we think there's a mole in the BCPD?
I think they kind of, I don't know, I could see that kind of going. Oh, that's a thread that I feel like they definitely kind of cast for us. So I'm curious to see if it's something that they're going to kind of dig into more.
Yeah.
It does kind of add up given what we've kind of been seeing, so.
Agreed. So it's definitely something we have to watch for as we move forward in this season.
Yep. Not that that's going to be a problem, though. Keeping a lookout for certain sort of little details, and not that that's going to be a problem with this show.
Exactly. But I think we covered everything in this episode. It was, like I said, at a 21-minute runtime, it was a very short, very quick, jam-packed episode. And it's been fantastic either way. I mean, our show went longer than the actual episode.
I know. I was just going to say that, but I just appreciate too that it makes it easier and more fun to binge that way.
Yes.
The episodes they're action packed. But they don't. It's not like an hour of just crazy straight up intensity where you need time to recover. It's like, nope, okay, take me to the next one, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great. That's the way soap should be.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. Well, either way, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I also want to thank everybody for tuning in again to the podcast-a-thon this past weekend and Suds News on Monday. Either way, we are growing. Our next episode of Freestyling on Real American Freestyle will happen after the RAF 03 event, which is November 29th. That's at 9 o'clock on Fox Nation because it's emanating from, I forget where, off the top of my head, Chicago. It's from Chicago. So either way, folks, stay tuned for that. We'll be doing a watch-along on our Discord for the RAF 03 event, and then we'll be coming in live to talk all about it. But, Kim, where could everybody find you online?
So I am Misfit8690 on X and Little Misfit52 on YouTube as well as on Instagram. So feel free to hit me up there to chat about soaps or whatever strikes your fancy.
All right, fantastic. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Vinny Suds. At Suds Media, our X is our network X account, which is what I normally post a lot of stuff on. Also at Suds and Squared Circle Media for both Instagram and Threads. Our TikTok is at Suds_media. We're getting better with TikTok. Also, again, visit our new merch store, which is merch.suds-media.com. It takes you to our new spread shop store. So whatever you want, go ahead, and you could even customize, if you want a different logo somewhere on a different shirt or a different accessory, go ahead and customize it, which is absolutely fantastic for you to do. But either way, we will be back next Thursday to talk all about another episode of the multiple-time Emmy Award-winning web soap, The Bay. Again, you can catch The Bay on, let's kind of go from the top. Bay the Beginning is only available on Amazon Prime, or Prime Video, I should say. But The Bay itself, from seasons 1 to 6, is available on Peacock. Seasons 1 through 8 are available on Amazon, on Prime Video. 1 through 9, or 1 through 8 is on Tubi. 1 through 9 is on Popstar, and it's also running daily on Popstar as well. So there's a lot of places, and it's on Roku channel as well. I'm not sure what seasons or whatever, but either way, there's a lot of places to watch The Bay. So you have no reason not to quote unquote, or should I say, not to hashtag.
Absolutely. There's plenty of places to find it and plenty of places to view it. So go on and do yourselves a favor and check it out.
Yes. And so for Kim, I'm Vinny. We will see you next week as we go dockside at the Bay. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.